So you won't be seeing Eric Bledsoe in his Suns uniform again, ever. GM Ryan McDonough saying after the team's shoot-around today, quote, he won't be with us going forward. This is after the team sent Bledsoe home from shoot-around this morning. He won't play tonight, and now they are actively trying to trade him. And you got to give Phoenix credit here. While most teams fall apart slowly, over the past 5 days, the Suns have clearly just decided to go for the hold my beer approach. Opening the season with a 48-point loss at home to a Blazers team missing one of its main stars. Yeah, that was a horror movie, but just wait, we've got more! Against the Lakers, the Suns executed what I believe is officially referred to as the velvet rope defense.
Yep,
just usher that opposing player to the basket, make sure they remain untouched, but wait! We've got more. By the time the Suns got to the Clippers over the weekend, Phoenix really got creative. I mean, sure, there was another loss, also by more than 40 points. More than 40, but just for spice, Josh Jackson decided to both curse out the crowd and make a gesture imitating multiple gunshots. By the end of the night, Alec Peters wasn't just flopping. It appeared he was trying to physically sink through the floor just to get away from it all while the rest of the Suns just stood there. But it turns out all of that was just a run-up for yesterday. Let's talk about the firing of Coach Earl Watson first. It wasn't a shock. Earl is a smart, creative guy who was just wholly unprepared to be an NBA head coach, and he was never able to learn enough on the job to make things work. But if the rope was going to be that short, why not pull it over the summer when a new coach could at least come in and have had his own training camp? The answer is the same answer we've given over and over. Because it's the Suns. The team is mismanaged from the very top. And every time owner Robert Sarver promises a fresh start or a new direction, something he did as recently as Wednesday, mind you, both he and the folks he hires figure out a way to sabotage it. I mean, this was a team that couldn't even tank right last season. Which brings us back to Bledsoe, who was frustrated last spring when he was benched during said tanking. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting this morning that Bledsoe actually met with Sarver and asked for a trade this preseason. Then yesterday, he sent out the tweet that sent the NBA into convulsions. Quote, I don't want to be here. There was some excuse from Bledsoe's side that he was tweeting about being stuck at his wife's hair salon, but come on. If you were Eric and you have watched everyone from Isaiah Thomas to Goran Dragic to the Morris twins move on to NBA freedom without you, wouldn't you spend Saturday evening trying to find your old locker at the Staples Center and hiding in it while the Suns team bus left? DeAndre Jordan certainly seems to think so. Not long after seeing his ex-teammates cry for help, DeAndre tweeted, "Come back home, bro." I mean, look, here's the bottom line. Nothing is going to change in Phoenix until Sarver either sells the team or removes himself from day-to-day decision-making. Until then, Bledsoe should want a trade. Devin Booker should want a trade, frankly, because hold their beer, you can be sure there's more chaos coming. Brian, what is the market at this point for Eric Bledsoe? What do we expect to have happen
Well, the
here?
Suns have now badly leveraged themselves because they've sent him home and made it clear that he will not show
he's
back
not
up.
playing again.
He will not show back up until he's traded. So he's played his last game for the Suns, allegedly. There are several teams that make really good sense here. The Denver Nuggets could add him to their, they need defense. He would be really good for them. The Philly 76ers, it would be of interest. They've got young pieces and picks. They could bring in a veteran like him. The Cleveland Cavaliers will always be mentioned because of a connection with LeBron James. I don't think the Cavs or the Clippers, for that matter, sorry, DeAndre, have the pieces that are required to make the deal done. But you're right. As Woj reported, they went together and they met and they said, let's work on this over the course of time. Right now, only 70% of the league can be traded. The other 30% can't be traded until December 15th.
Right.
It is not trade season. It is a bad time to make a trade. But
Brian's like, don't do this to my phone. It's not trade season, people.
But he has forced it with this tweet, quite frankly.
I mean, didn't they look into a deal with Denver over the summer? Wasn't that part of the equation? Is getting Moutier really going to help a Suns team that's having some problems right now?
At this point, they've now, again, leveraged themselves in such a bad position that they may be forced into making a bad trade.
Which is surprising why. I mean, what has been the game plan for these Suns over the past few years? Just acquire a bunch of guards and then trade them for less? Like, it doesn't really seem like they have any sort of blueprint there when you talk about this.
That's not a smart.
No, it's not. It's probably not the process, right? And it's actually funny when you compare what the 76ers have done with that, Sam Hinkie and the process and the label to it, where they're losing, and everything's okay, it'll be fine. This Suns team has just been chaotic, and there seems to be no direction there. When you've got a talent like Devin Booker at that two-guard spot who can be, one of the superstars in the league, and you have room, let's say in the future, maybe 2020, to have all this space. It does seem like they have it right in front of them, the ability to recover from this, but do you trust them with making these decisions or keeping players
Well,
happy?
that's interesting. So you mentioned the process, right? Fans in Phoenix have been dubbing what they're doing, calling it the timeline. And part of this is what, again, Sarver outlined his big plan last week, was the idea that 2 of his 4 top players, young players, they should become all-stars in the next 2 years. No big deal, just make that happen. They're 20 or whatever. And then also acquire 2 big free agents in the next couple years, because again, that's easy to do.
Well, here was the genius about trust the process. There was no timeline.
Right.
It's done when it's done, and then you celebrate it because, hey, it happened. This, when you're putting a deadline on it, it's even more dangerous.
Well, isn't the genius about the process, if it turns out to be that way, that they had Sam Hinkie and then Colangelo in charge? Who do you have running the Suns? That's the biggest difference with the timeline.
This is what Bledsoe was saying. Bledsoe's saying, I'm in my prime right now.
Yes.
I don't want to be on this.
I don't got no timeline.
I don't want to be on the cycle. Plus, the Suns have had 4 top 8 picks in the past 4 years, and none of them to this point. Now we'll see. They've got a young guy on the team right now, Josh Jackson, but none of the other guys are working out.